Good evening and welcome to the Formula Racing League. We're in for the Tier 1 category here at the Sochi Autodrome in Russia. Round 9, or round 8, I should say, of this 13-round series. We begin with qualifying. Q1 will be first. With there being 18 drivers, we should lose the slowest 3 at the end of Q1, then the slowest 5 at the end of Q2, and then the top 10 heading through for the pole position shootout. Hello to Dixon, who's just tuned in. We're just waiting for some cars to make their way out onto the racetrack, and then this qualifying should get underway. If I could be informed on the weather forecast, that would be very much appreciative. It looks to be very, very cloudy over the Sochi Autodrome, so if drivers are in a huge rush to get out onto the racetrack and get a fast time in before the rain comes, we'll find out soon enough anyway. So Smalley's coming in for me saying it's all dry. Thank you very much there, Smalley. Smalley, who is the only driver other than Lezard to take a race victory in the Tier 1 category this season. Lezard going for his 7th victory out of 8, which would take him a step closer to the title. He would actually, in fact, be mathematically able to clinch the championship of this round. He does have a 128-point lead. Now, the point system for the Formula Racing League for Tiers 1, 2, 3 and 4 is that the top 15 score points. There's 40 points for the race winner, 32 for second, 26 for third. Lezard has an 128-point lead, which means after this round there will be only 210 points left on the table. So in fact, he wouldn't be able to win the championship at this round, but he'd most certainly take a giant step towards it. So he's won 6 out of 7 races, I should say, not 7 out of 8. So I've got my numbers muddled up. So it is round 8 here in Russia. So we're waiting for some cars to start their flying laps. It'll be Vamu in the Williams, expected to cross over the line. Just a few changes in the driver lineup. Redstone Derp in place of Infinite Glory for the rest of the season. And it looks as though that Dan Murphy is not in the frame for this evening. Quick Killer takes his place at Haas. Exotic Alpha not in the Racing Point. There's no one at the moment to fill in for him in that seat. And the other full-time driver who's not in tonight is Harry, who would be racing in, just looking at the grid, he would be racing in the Renault, and there's currently no one to fill in for him there. So back to the qualifying session. Vamu just needs to get his Williams through into the second part of qualifying. There's a high 32 in sector 1, and then into, just looking at the track layout of the Sochi Autodrome, it's an 18-turn circuit. Vamo's into the last sector now. It's been very, very quick so far as Vamo, but I think sometimes in races he does have his off days. He wants to put it right here. Last time out in Austin, he didn't actually finish the race. He didn't score anyway. So 1 minute 31.1 for him on this lap. Beko Going behind him on a 1 minute 31.3. We've got a Ferrari crossing over the line. That'll be Romans Republic going on a 1 minute 30.9. We've got Dixon next up, 1 minute 30.8 for him on the soft compound. Followed by the Williams of Plymouth, it's a 1:31.5. And next up, we should expect to see the Racing Point of Big Balls Bells to come through. Now looking at Big Balls Bells in the championship, 55 points is accumulated. It's up a 9th place finish. Last time out in Austin, he's exceeded track limits on this lap, so he'll have to go again. We go to the Haas of Dean Phelan, who's come back into the pits after he has exceeded track limits. We've got Luna Ascari, who's on a flying lap. She's been doing excellent in the Formula Racing League. And over the line, plays a 1 minute 32.9. She's lost a lot of time somewhere on this lap, so she'll probably go again. She maybe just did a preparation lap before she started her proper flying lap. Now we'll come away from her for the time being. We'll go back to the Red Bull of Smalley, who's just begun his fast lap time. Quick Killer will cross over the line for Haas, supposed to 1 minute 31.8. We've got Mercedes in the wall. The Mercedes of Redstone Dirt has hit the wall, and I'd like to think he's damaged his front wing, so he'll need to come back into the pits. All Redstone Dirt. And Big Balls Bells is on a flying lap. Can he keep his car within the confinements of the racetrack this time? Over the line he goes. This is a 1:30.8. That puts him fastest so far out of everyone. Only 8 drivers have set a lap time. We've got the Alfa Romeo of Luna Ascari on a fast lap time. She's half a second up on her previous best time in sector 2, but she needs to find an awful lot more in sector 3. Over the line she comes. It's a 32.0. That's not good enough, unfortunately, from Luna. She'll have to go again. Now, so I would say to get into Q2, you are looking at a low 1 minute 31. That's the kind of time you should be aiming for. Smalley posting a 29.7. An amazing lap there from Smalley. He goes fastest by just over a second ahead of everyone else. Now we've got Quick Killer. He'll be making his way back into the pit lane now. He's going for another run. We'll go to Mystic Joker, who's just on an outlap. So I'll come away from him. Chirumbar on an outlap as well. Orange and Gamma is on a lap that's invalidated. Jay Hartnell is not on a flying lap either. Big Balls Bells will surely be making his way back into the pits. Dean Phelan is on an outlap as well. No, sorry, I'd imagine we'll make her way back into the pit lane at the end of this lap. So I'd imagine the times will come down as the session goes on. We've got an AlphaTauri on a flying lap, that's Blizzard. Coming through turn 17 and now 18. And this lap is going to be good enough to put him second behind Smalley. Blizzard safely through to Q2. And now we've got the Haas of Quick Killer. And a lap that's invalidated. Will he be making his way back into the pit lane? And the answer is yes. He is going back into the pits. The Renault of Mr. Joker on the lap that's invalidated, so come away from him. Chirumbar is on a flying lap though. In the Mercedes, 9 minutes to go in Q1. Smalley fastest on a 1:29.7. Then it's Lezard, and then Big Boss Bells a full second off Lezard's pace. Chirumbar crosses the line to go third on a 30.3. So separates himself between Lezard and Big Balls Bells. Chirumbar will safely be through to Q2. Dean Phelan looking to complete his first time lap of the session. Jay Hartnell close to completing his. It's a 1:31.7 to put him 11th ahead of Quick Killer. Then it's Dean Phelan next up for Haas. He's coming back into the pits. So Liverpool fan, he's aiming for a place in Q2. His lap time so far is not that great, if I'm honest with you. It's a 31.8 for Liverpool fans, so there's no doubt that he will need to go again if he's to get into Q2. There are some fast drivers who have yet to post time so far, so Liverpool fan will be aiming to get out of the bottom three. Statistic King just coming in saying to the usuals as well, Luna, Kev and Jay, the fate scouts are Bruce too. In case you want to know, Bruce is the is Liverpool fan in this one. Safdar on an outlap right now. Jay Hartnell on a better lap in the Red Bull. We've got a Ferrari crossing over the line as well. That'll be, I think, couldn't tell if it was a Ferrari. I think it was just making his way back into the pit lane. Either way, Jay Hartnell improves his time to go up to 9th on a 31.3. So I'd like to think that he's through. Just depends on how the track evolves between now and the end of Q1. Dixon in the McLaren is on a fast lap. Liverpool finally coming back into the pits to get another set of the soft compound to go out for another run. And Leslie going fastest on a 29.7, so he goes to the top of the timing pages. Not sure why he needed to go again, to be honest with you, but at least he can put a bid in to go fastest at the end of Q1. Redstone Dirt, one of 4 drivers yet to post a time in this session. Luna Ascari is the slowest out of all those who have set a time on a 32.0. That is not going to be enough to get her through. Redstone Dirt needs to be aiming for in the low 1:31s. Into the last corner, turn 18. And it is a mid 1:31. It's a 1:31.5. Goes ahead of Pimis. Safdar, we know how quick he is in the Formula Racing League. Coming through the last turn. And Safdar posts a 1:30.7, goes 5th with that lap. He's safely through to Q2. Mr. Joker is next up. Coming through turns 15 and 16. Positions the car nicely. He'll want to do the same for turns 17 and 18. Takes it steady through that part. It's a 30.1. He goes 3rd fastest with that one, so he's 4/10 away from Lezard and Smalley. With that lap time, it's a good effort that from Mystic Joker. Dean Phelan on a lap also in the Haas. Pim is crossing the line to post a 31.3, so he goes back ahead of Jake Hartnell and Redstone Dirt and Becco. We'll go to Becco next. He's just starting his next flying lap. And we've got a Mercedes of Turenbar who's crossing over the line. And maybe the other one, actually, Redstone Derp's just made his way back into the pit lane. The Liverpool fan needs to find an improvement. But here's Phelan. Crossing over the line for Haas, it'll be a 30.8, goes 9th, and that pushes his teammate Quick Killer into the drop zone. Luna Ascari, how's she getting on with her lap? Not very good. She's nearly a 10th down from her previous lap time. I think she's on a preparation lap, actually, so she's probably just burning off some fuel before she goes for what could be her final flying lap in this Q1 session. Becco is one of those in desperate need of a better lap time. Well, I say desperate of a better lap time. He's over 4/10 away from the drop zone where Quick Killer is. Coming through 15. It's off camber, this one. Very tricky to nail the apex there. 16. Exit wasn't too shabby. Oh, he's invalidated the lap as Becco, so he'll have to go again. Now, his lap time is a 31.7, so it wouldn't have been faster than his previous best. Luna Ascari, the slowest of all 18 drivers now, on a flying lap. She must nail this one. She wants to be aiming for, ideally, the mid-32s in Sector 1. She's in the low 33s. She's 700s up from her previous best, but she needs to find, at the very minimum, half a second to get into Q2. Now, in terms of traffic, there's no traffic to worry about for Luna. She just needs to concentrate on her driving. DRS open on the back straight. 2 DRS zones on the Sochi Autodrome track. Luna Ascari will position herself for turns 12 and now 13. Through 14. And judging by her sector times, she's nearly 3/10 up from her previous best. But she's coming through now into the last 2 turns. Is Luna Ascari is going to book her place into Q2. She's into 14th position, and from what I've seen, Orange and Gamma has just crashed out on the exit of turn 10. Now that means he will not take any further part in qualifying, so he could well be another driver joining the bottom 3 as one of the eliminated drivers in this session. So Luna Ascari is throwing herself a lifeline here. Redstone Derp has just started his final flying lap. Quick Killer is not on a quicker lap than what he'd done last time, so he needs to find some more time in the last 2 sectors of the lap. DRS open on the Haas, goes past the slow-in Alfa Romeo of Safdar. And he's 2/10 down in Sector 2 from his previous best, so Quick Killer on the brink of being knocked out in Q1 here. Took an interesting line, actually, into turn 15 and then 16. Quick Killer, one of the reserves being called in for tonight in place of Dan Murphy. Does he get into Q2? The answer is no. He does improve his time by 100th of a second. Not enough to get him out of the bottom 3. He's out of qualifying. Redstone Derp, not on a quick lap either. He's had his lap invalidated. So he is out of qualifying. Liverpool fan is the only driver that can deprive Luna Ascari of a place in Q2. Round in turn 17 and now into 18. Nails the apex on the inside and he knocks Luna Ascari out. Liverpool fan has made it into Q2 by less than 400th of a second. Luna Ascari will be gutted with that. She'll be very disappointed to not make it into Q2. But for Liverpool fan, he lives to fight on another day. He did find a lot of time in the last lap, and he's managed to get himself into Q2. So we have our eliminated drivers at the end of that. Quick Killer, Redstone, and Luna Ascari are the slowest 3 drivers. There you go out. And with Orange and Gamma's crashed on the exit of turn 10, he'll join them. He will not take any further part in qualifying. Now, I wonder how Orange and Gamma had lost it during that session. That's cost him potentially a shot of going for pole position in Q3. So we're just waiting for the session to finally end. There are still a couple of drivers out on circuit. There we go. So Quick Killer, the slowest of everyone in that Q1 session, he won't be taking any further part in qualifying. So Lezo was the fastest in Q1, but our eliminated drivers sees Orange and Gamma, Luna Ascari, Redstone Derp, and Quick Killer not taking any more part in qualifying. We'll be back for the race later. Q2 will commence very, very shortly. On to Q2 we go. Just been informed by Orange and Gamma, one of those who had crashed, the driver who had crashed out in Q1, and so they caught the orange curb at turn 10, which sent his Ferrari into the wall. Interesting to see if he can recover from that in the race. It'll be a 27-lap race, will the Russian Grand Prix here in the Formula Racing League. This is Tier 1. This is one of 4 tiers. Tiers 2 and 3 have been competed at the same time as this. Tier 4 do their events on a Sunday evening. So we are starting to see drivers making their way out onto the circuit now. I'm just looking to see who is trying to get through on the mediums. And Smalley's on the mediums. So he's obviously going to try and get through on that. So Vamu will be looking to get into Q3. So Vamu coming around turn 17 and now 18 to start his flying lap in Q2. So we'll go on board here with Vamu for a lap of this Sochi Autodrome track. So through the right-hand kink of turn 1, that is a corner that's not, and into the first braking zone. We want to brake at round about where the 100 metres board is, get the car turned in for turn 2, and then this long wind in turn 3. You can see Vamu taking the shortest route possible through there, and then positioning the car nicely into turn 4, and he's just had his lap invalidated there. What a shame. Would have loved to see more of that lap. We'll go on board with Jay Hartnell this time, eh? He decides to take a different line, actually, to Vamu, which is interesting. he's probably thinking more ahead to turn 4, which he does so nicely. He had to lift off the throttle slightly to make sure he got the car turned in. Here's turn 5. Wasn't the best exit in the world, and there's the right-hand kink of turn 6. Then braking into turn 7 into 4th gear. And this is he's gone off at turn 8, and then we'll come away from it. So, the driver's pushing a bit too hard at this stage. Here's Roman's Republic. Into turn 8 he goes. And then 9, and here's turn 10. Now, wait for that orange curb, of which that caught out Orange and Gamma in that Q1 session, though it was on the inside curb into it. That was what sent Orange and Gamma into the wall. And now Orange and Gamma turns the car into 14. He slid on the entry, which compromised his line and braking point. 15 and 16 fighting for the car. Doesn't seem to have an awful lot of tyre temperature on those mediums. Struggling to find grip. 17 braked too late there, and he's just had his lap invalidated for exceeding chart limits. What a shame there for Roman's Republic. So far, Lezard fastest on a 29.8, and it's Becco in second on 31.3, followed by Pimis on a 31.3 as well. Dean Phelan, the end driver, to that time in the 1 minute on the media compound, and Big Boss Bells has spun. Arthur's crossed over the line, and he'll have to probably go again after that, but he has posted the second fastest time at the 1 minute 30.6. And Dixon crossing the line to start another flying lap, I think, or complete his lap he's just done. It's a 31.7 for him, which is not going to be quick enough for him to get into Q3 on. Here's Vamu in the Williams. His first lap time was invalidated. What is he going to produce on this second lap? To be honest, probably not a lot. He's not even in the hot lap setting. He was probably just doing a prep lap, to be honest with you. So he probably did a cool down lap, and now he's got the battery charged back up, and he's going to go for another run. And Schurenbart getting a toe actually off Lezard. Oh, the two touch. Now, I don't know who was on a fast lap to the other. Lezard was he on a fast lap? No, he actually wasn't. Lezard was not on a fast lap. So he should have moved out of the way of Schurenbart, actually. There's a car off in the runoff area. It's Dean Phelan, who's just getting out the way of other cars. So Schurenbart got held up by Lezard on that run. It probably didn't affect him that much, but Lezard should have been more aware that Schurenbart was coming up behind him. Schurenbart goes third. There may be a few words between those two later on. Lovable Fun going 8th on a 1 minute 31.7. On the soft compounds, that's not going to be enough to get him through to Q3. Highly, highly doubt it. Smalley is on the verge. Well, should he do another lap time, providing he keeps his car within the chart limits, he'll make it through to Q3. He wants to try and get in on the mediums. Now, he needs to get in front of Dean Phelan, if he can. His target will be to get into, well, ideally, the high 1 minute 30s, but even that's a tall order on the mediums, even for Smalley's capabilities. Now, who else is on a flying lap at the moment? Is Schurenbart on another flying lap? No, he's not. And Dixon nearly clipping the wall there on the exit of turn 10. He's had his lap time invalidated as well, so he will need to go once more. Vamu has had his lap time invalidated. So we're not seeing a lot of track action at the moment. Smalley's on a flying lap at the moment now, though, on the medium compound. In terms of lap time, he'll want to be in the 32s. He's a 32.9. Onto turn 8 and 9 he comes. Turns 12 and 13. Nailing the apex there very nicely there, did Smalley. He really is aiming to qualify or start the race on the mediums. And the line he comes. It's a 1 minute 30.8. That's a very good lap time from Smalley. I would think that that is enough for him to get into Q3 on. So we've seen some other drivers on outlaps right now. Romans Republic has gone for another run, hoping to get his first lap time in there for Q2. Just about keeping his car within the limits. Is it in the 32s for Sector 1? The answer is yes. It's faster than what Smalley had set on the mediums. So that's good news for Romans. Rear wing open on the Ferrari. Exiting turns 10 and 11. He comes into 12. Now braking for 13. 14. Not taking too much throttle on the exit. Turn 15 and 16 executes nicely, actually. Getting good drive coming out of there. 2 more corners to negotiate. 17 and 18. Nails the apex through 17 and for 18. Crosses over the line to 30.7. So Romans Republic should be through to Q3 with that. So Liverpool Fun is into the drop zone with that. Mystic Joker is in the drop zone. It's just had his last lap time invalidated for exceeding track limits, and now he's going to need to put another set of the soft compound tyres on. In fact, he's on the mediums, so there's no doubt he will need to go on a set of softs. Safdar is on a set of softs in the Alfa Romeo. One of 3 drivers yet to post a time in this session. Through 11 he comes, and his set 2 time is a 1 minute 4.0, which is not bad. In terms of his lap time, he'll want to be ideally in the high 1 minute 30s, which I'm confident he can achieve. Takes as much curb as he can, nailing the exit as much as possible. Positions the car nicely for 18. Over the line he comes. It's a 30.3. Brilliant lap time from Safdar. Puts him second behind Lezard. He is through to Q3. No doubt about that. Becco is on a lap that's invalidated. And he's broken his front wing as well. So he'll be back in the pits. There is a car coming up behind him. It's a Red Bull of Jay Hartnell. But Jay Hartnell is not on a flying lap. Dean Phelan is on he's on his outlap actually. He's at risk of being knocked out. He has set his time on the mediums. He's on the softs now, so he should find a great deal of time to cement his place in Q3. There are less than 3 minutes to go in this session. Jay Hartnell has just started his flying lap now, which will probably be the last of Q2. He may be able to do 2 runs, judging by the amount of fuel he's got on board. He's got at least 2 laps on board there, so I would think if Jay Hartnell does not do it on this lap, he'll just go for another run. Jay Hartnell looking to get into Q3 this time. It's a 33.3. It's not a good first sector for him. He definitely needs to find more than that. There's an Alfa Romeo just coming through turn 11. That'll be Safdar. He'll be just crawling back to the pits. He will be slowing down to move out of the way of Jay Hartnell, who comes through. And there'll be a Haas making his way past the Alfa Romeo as well. But Jay Hartnell coming through turn 15 and 16. So through 17 and 18 he comes. Very nicely done. It's a 31.5 and he gets out of the bottom 4. But will that be enough for him? He goes for another run. So we'll come back to him in a moment. D Phelan crosses the line. He goes third fastest on a 30.4. Brilliant lap time. So he has surely booked his place in Q3 with that. Pimis is the next driver at risk. He's on a lap that's invalidated. So he'll have to go again. So we'll go to Vamu, who's only 2 thousandths up through sector 1 from his previous best. He's backed off on this one actually because he's lost some time somewhere. So he should have enough time to get over the line before the checker flag falls. There are 30 seconds remaining. Just needs to be careful not to impede other drivers whilst he's completing, or he's about to start his last attempt. So Smalley in 7th place on the mediums is one to look out for. Mr. Joker, the only driver yet to post a lap time. So Pimis is back in the pits now actually, so his qualifying session is over. Jay Hartnell coming through. If he is to get into Q3, he needs to find at the very minimum half a second, but he's not achieving that at the moment. He could possibly go ahead of Pimis with this attempt, and it's a 31.4. He stays 12th with that run. Now is Dean Phelan on another flying lap? No, he's on a cool down lap, so we'll come away from him. We'll go to Mystic Joker, who needs to find a low 1 minute 30 really, or high 1 minute 30 ideally. Probably go in front of Smalley if he can. And at the moment he's producing a solid lap time. He cannot afford any mistakes here, otherwise it's qualifying over for him. So Mystic Joker. 2 more corners to go. Here he comes. It's a 29.8. He goes second, so he's only 0.03 of a second away from Leslie's time. Liverpool fan over the line, goes 12th fastest. It's qualifying over for him. Vamo's been pushed into the drop zone, but he is on a fast lap coming out of the final corner, and he gets himself out of the bottom 4. He goes through to Q3. Becco's out of qualifying, and Smalley can afford to back off on this run because he can now start the race on the medium compound tyre. So he gets through by the narrowest of margins, 0.2 of a second to be fair, but he's done enough on the medium compound to start the race on that. Crucially, that's important for Smalley's race actually, which will make a very tasty battle between himself, Lezard, Chirimbar, and Mystic Joker. In fact, Chirimbar only 0.02 of a second away from Lezard's time. And with Mystic Joker behind, Smalley's showing some decent pace. We're going to be in for a thrilling Q3 session. No doubt about that. But for Becco, Liverpool fan, Pimis and Jay Hartnell, their Q2 session ends in elimination, making up places 11, 12, 13 and 14. Whilst the top 10 will go on to Q3 to fight it out for pole position. So there's confirmation. Becco, Liverpool fan, Pimis and Jay Hartnell are out at the end of Q2. And with the times that we've been seeing from the top guns, we are going to be in for a thrilling Q3 session. Do not go anywhere. We'll be back in a moment. So it's Q3. Who will be the fastest out of all those at the end of this session, given the margin we have between Lizard, Churimba and Mystic Joker? I really cannot wait to see how Q3 ends and how close the times will be. Lizard will be thinking about the championship as well as the race. Smalley will be happy to get through on the mediums, something to keep an eye out on in around about 15 minutes time. As you can see, Vamo making his way out onto the circuit. He's wasting no time wanting to get track position. He'll be heading out there straight away, and he'll be sitting in the pits waiting for that gap in the traffic. So Vamo, determined to potentially be within the frame of going for the top 5 on the grid. Only time will tell him whether he'll actually manage to do that. So 9 drivers out on the racetrack at the moment. Mystic Joker, the only driver still in the pits. He's probably waiting for that gap in the traffic before he makes his way out onto the racetrack. But Vamo is the first driver to cross over the line to start a flying lap in Q3. In terms of the fastest times, we are expecting the high 1 minute 29s. And the drivers who have made it into Q3 are given an extra set of soft compound so they can at least go for a run in this session. Vamo taking the shorter route through turn 3 to position himself nicely for 4. Gets a nice exit, gets the car straightened up for 5. Very nicely done. Turn 7 has just gone through there. He's turning too early into 8. That's his lap time invalidated. So go to the AlphaTauri of Lizard. One of those going for pole. What can he produce here? The championship leader. Oh, he slid quite a bit coming out. Oh, he's had his lap time invalidated. Turning too early into 16, and he will have to go again. Smalley behind him. His lap's legal so far. Into turn 18 he comes. It'll be a 29.7. We've got the Williams of Vamo crossing over the line. And we've got the Ferrari of Romans Republic posting a 30.4. Then it's Churimba goes to provisional pole position on a 29.6. Safdar next up for Alfa Romeo. He said his lap time invalidated for exceeding track limits, so will come away from him. Dixon for McLaren, it's a 30.2, goes third fastest with that lap time. Big Balls Bells is next. He's just coming into the pits. His lap time's invalidated as well. Dean Phelan, he's kept his car within the limits of the racetrack. What lap time we're going to see from him? It's going to be in the 1 minute 30s. It's a 1 minute 30.3. Puts him 4th with that run. Mr. Joker on his outlap right now. Leslie's just had his lap time invalidated. Also on the lap he's done, goes to the runoff area to get back to the pits as soon as he can. We'll go to Vamo next. He's on a 1 minute 4.2 by the second sector. An opportunity for Vamu to get onto, well, maybe the top 5 if his lap time's quick enough here. It's a 1 minute 30.7. It puts him 6th. Slowest of all the drivers who have set a lap time so far. Mr. Joker posting a 32.6 in Sector 1. That's very, very quick. And Vamu has crashed out on the exit of Turn 3. Now, I'm not sure what's happened, but Vamu has lost it on the exit of Turn 3, binned it in the wall, and his qualifying session is over. Mr. Joker carries on. Can he put himself in the frame? We're going for pole here. At 1 minute 29.6 is the time to beat. It's a 29.9. Puts him 3rd behind Smalley. We're just waiting on other drivers to complete a lap. Dean Phelan's back in the pits. I think Mr. Joker may be going for a second. Okay, so Mr. Joker going for a second run on this lap. Let's see what his lap time is like through Sector 1. Very nice exit through Turn 4. Oh, he's way down on his previous best, so no improvement from him. Big Boss Bells is on his outlap in the racing point. Yet to set a time so far in this session. The Big Boss Bells looking to get his racing point up there. He's currently 9th in the championship on 55 points. He didn't score last time out in Austin. He's looking to make it up for it here in Russia. 32.7 through Sector 1. He ought to find more in Sector 2 and Sector 3 though. He had a kick of oversteer as he exited Turn 7. Turn 8 and 9 was rather smooth. He went a bit offline. Had to really fight the car to keep it on track. Wasn't the best entry through 10. And now he's got 11 and 12 to go through before the next braking point. Turn 13, 1 minute 4.0. Not too shabby through 13 and 14. 15 is okay, but not amazing. He's just had that lap time validated, turned in too early. Braked a bit too late into that particular part of the racetrack. And he's back in the pits now. Romans Republic has just started his next flying lap in the Ferrari. Wants to be aiming for the 32 range at the end of Sector 1. We know that Romans Republic is a quick driver. Oh, he's tapped the barrier! Oh, he's tapped the barrier on the exit of Turn 4 as Romans Republic. And he's not going to go any higher than 6th now. He's not got enough time to get round to the pits to complete a change of front wing and get the outlap completed. That was a very nasty clip against the wall for Romans Republic. So, Orange and Gamma not the only driver to hit the Armco or hit the barrier on the exit of a corner. Dean Phelan on a flying lap in the Haas. What's his lap time going to be at the end of Sector 1? It's a 32.7. It's not quicker than before. Dean Phelan. What can he find in Sector 2? Ideally wants to be in the high 1 minute 3s by this point. It's a 1 minute 3.9. That's much better from Dean Phelan. Can he go in front of Dixon with this lap? He's got a good chance of doing so. Entering turns 15. Oh, he got out of shape there on the exit. It compromises entry into 16. Got 2 more turns to negotiate. Turns 17 and now 18. It's a 1 minute 30.0 and he goes in front of Dixon with that time. So Dean Phelan 4th provisionally right now. Lezard on a flying lap. Is this going to be good enough for him to get that pole position point for the championship? Lezard coming through the last turn, over the line, and he goes to provisional pole position by 0.2 of a second ahead of Turenbar in second. What about Smalley though? Because he's just started his flying lap now, so it'll be a minute or so before he gets round. Mr. Joker's just started his final flying lap with 30 seconds remaining to the checkered flag. Big Boss Bells has crossed over the line as well. Safdar likewise. Roman's Republic is in the pits, knowing he's not going to go any faster. Dixon crossing over the line to start his final flying lap. Turenbar getting over the line with 10 seconds to spare as well. So we're going to see a flurry of lap times coming through from these 8 drivers, or 7 I should say, because Dean Phelan's not going any faster. So Smalley will be the first of those who just started a final flying lap in their bid for going for pole position. Smalley needs to find ideally 4 tenths to have a chance. He's a 10th up from his previous best time by Sector 2, but not enough to take it away from Lezard. He needs to find more in Sector 3. Positions the car nicely for 15 and 16. Takes as much curb as he wants. Turn 17 and then 18 over the line, and he goes to provisional pole position again. So Smalley has done it again. Here in Austin, he takes pole position away from Lezard at the moment. Turenbar is on a lap that's invalid, so he won't be improving. What about Mystic Joker? Has he found enough time at the end of this lap? He goes 4th fastest on a 29.6. Dixon, at the moment, I don't think he's on a quicker lap than before, but let's see what his time is going to be like as he crosses over the line for McLaren. It's a 29.9, goes up to 5th with that lap time, so a good effort from him. Big Bells goes 8th on a 1 minute 30.1. So Smalley on pole position for the Russian Grand Prix. He's done it by half a tenth over Lezard. Then it's Turenbar in 3rd, Mystic Joker 4th, Dixon ahead of Safdar, and it's Dean Phelan in 7th place. A brilliant effort from him. Big Boss Bells will be 8th on the grid ahead of Roman's Republic and Vamu. So Smalley does get that championship point, which sees him move a point closer to Turenbar in the fight for 2nd place. But what a brilliant session that was. A brilliant ending, I have to say. A quarter of a second, or around about a quarter of a second, separating the top 4. And with Smalley starting on the mediums, unlike the rest of the field inside the top 10, will that give him the upper hand at the start? We'll find out soon enough. But he's done it. Smalley on pole position here in Russia. So Lezard line up alongside ahead of Turenbar and Mystic Joker on row 2. Dixon and Safdar will make up row 3. Dean Phelan and Big Boss Bells make up row 4. Roman's Republic and Vamu make up the top 10 for the grid. That was qualifying. Smalley bagging the first point. He drew first blood, but he will come away with the spoils by the end of the next 27 laps. So the drivers completed their race and fuel strategies for the Russian Grand Prix. The formation lap is about to... completed their race. My apologies there for the feedback. At least you can hear me anyway. So Smalley leads the field on the formation lap for the start of this race. There's an opportunity to find out who's starting on what. So Smalley, as we've already mentioned, will be starting on the mediums. Everyone else inside the top 10 on the softs. Becco is also on the mediums, as is Pimis, Jay Hartnell, Orange and Gamma, Luna Ascari, Redstone Derp and Quick Killer. Liverpool fan starting on the soft compound. It's a very hot day in the Sochi Autodrome. So Lezard cannot mathematically clinch the title today, but victory would most certainly take him a giant step closer to it. There are 5 races to go after this one. The calendar has Austria for round 9 next week. Then it's Mexico, Singapore, France being the penultimate round of the season at Paul Ricard. And then Abu Dhabi will be the season finale on the 20th of July for tiers 1, 2 and 3. For tier 4, it'll be on the 25th of that month. So what can Smalley do from pole position? He's been on pole before in Canada. I believe he's been on pole at Silverstone. So Smalley has been on pole in rounds. He's been on pole in rounds 2, 6 and now 8. So this is his 3rd pole position of the season. But can he convert this into his 2nd victory of the season? He's only beaten Lezard once. Lezard's only been beaten once this season. He has won 6 out of 7 races. The race he didn't win, he actually finished 2nd, so that's a sign of consistency from the championship leader. It's realistic that he is going to win the championship. It's just a matter of when. But the battle for 2nd place in the championship is most certainly up for grabs in this race. So Smalley leading the field onto the grid, and soon we'll be on the way waiting for those 5 red lights to come on. So waiting for Quick Killer to make up the grid. I'll pull into his slot. We're ready then, here in Sochi, waiting for those 5 red lights to come on. And when they go out, we'll be racing here at the Sochi Autodrome in Russia. It's lights out, and away we go. Smalley gets off the line relatively fine, but it's Lezard who got the better start, and Turenbar making his way up into 2nd place under the Red Bull. So in fact, it's a bad getaway there from Smalley, but he'll make good use of the toe coming into turn 2, the first braking point of the circuit now. Lezard takes the lead, then it's Turenbar in 2nd place. Smalley has to tuck into 3rd. Becco cuts in the corner down at turn 2. He gets a 5-second time penalty for that, but Smalley stays in 3rd place. We've got Mystic Joker of Dixon, Phelan fighting it out with Vamut, Safdar under pressure from Big Balls Bowles, and it's Rome's Republic in 10th place behind them. And Rome's Republic getting ahead of the Racing Point and the Alfa Romeo to move up into 8th place. So Rome's Republic making places, Vamut also making up a few positions. We've got a virtual safety car already because someone has had a moment. It looks like Liverpool fan has dropped down a few places. He's pointing the wrong way on the exit of turn 5. And I think Luna Ascari's ripped off her front wing. That could be the reason why we're on the virtual safety cars, because of leftover debris from that first lap incident. So Luna Ascari will be in need of a new front wing. That's her race massively compromised. I've been using that word quite a bit. I'm trying to use something a little bit more not too recurring. But her race is already pretty much ruined, it has to be said. But Lezard leads on the end of, well, coming towards the end of lap 1 after that virtual safety car. Then it's Turenbar in 2nd, Smalley in 3rd on the mediums. Then it's Mystic Joker behind him in 4th. But there will be a point where Smalley's tyres will be coming into their optimum window to those on the soft compound. He'll be able to go on a longer first stint to those who have started on the soft compound. You could just see Dixon running wide on the exit of turn 17. Got back on track anyhow. And Mystic Joker getting into the slipstream of Smalley in the battle for third position, going to the inside as they go into turn 2. And the Renault gets past and up into third place. So good move from Mr. Joker. That was without DRS, by the way. It did say that DRS is enabled, but we are on lap 2. It's not lap 3 yet, as it says on the graphic. That'll be a glitch within the system. So it's Truenbar ahead of what it says Big Balls Bells, but it's actually Lizard. Lizard's in the lead right now. Then it's Truenbar second, Mr. Joker third, Smalley fourth, Dean Phelan in 5th place. We've got an incident in sector 1. It's one of the Ferraris who's in trouble. It's Orange and Gamma who's facing the wrong way, and he's got front wing damage as well. Luna Ascari exits the pits right at the back of the field, and she'll be hoping for a safety car later on in the event. She's gone back out on the set of the hard tyres, but not an ideal start to her Russian Grand Prix. Lizard leads ahead of Truenbar. Mr. Joker looking to close in. Smalley needs to watch Dean Phelan behind, because he's another one of those on the soft compounds. Dixon 7th as well. Now DRS will be enabled at the end of this lap. Now the detection point for the Sochi Autodrome. The detection point is just before the right-hand kink of turn 1, which the driver's about to pass through now. So Lezard posting a new fastest lap. That's now taken away by Truenbar. So we expect to see lap times coming down during the race. They are on full tanks of fuel after all. So you can see Smalley using his DRS as he's within 1 second of Mystic Joker ahead of him. And we expect to see a move from behind. That's the Ferrari of Rowan's Republic, thinking about making a move on Vamu. Goes to the inside of turn 2 and gets his Ferrari up into 7th position. So you can see how effective the DRS is at the end of that start-finish straight. There is Redstone Derp getting ahead of Pimis as well. Jay Hartnell in 14th position. You can see Quick Killer and Orange and Gamma coming into the pits for new front wings. Lizard out in front ahead of Truenbar. They got 0.8 of a second, so Truenbar will be able to use the DRS at the second detection point. There is 2 DRS zones at the Sochi Autodrome. And now Quick Killer getting a time penalty for corner cutting as well. His race going from bad to worse. And Redstone Derp has had a moment. Now, did he reset the car back onto the circuit? It looks like he did. We'll have a look at it post-race. But there is a rule about resetting the car back onto the racetrack after going off or having a spin. Not allowed in sim racing. Not allowed in the Formula Racing League anyway. So it does contribute towards a penalty, whether it's a time penalty or potentially a disqualification from the event. Dean Phelan getting out of shape coming off the exit of turn 16, and that's cost him a position to Dixon. So Phelan down to 6th position now in the Haas. You can see Smalley still within DRS range, and Lezard has pulled out of that DRS window of 1 second. He's 1.4 ahead of Truenbar. He's now going to be under threat from Mystic Joker, Smalley, Dixon and Phelan. And Vamu trying to get back round the outside of the Ferrari of Rowan's Republic. Can he do the switchback coming into turn 2? Someone's had a spin. It's Quick Killer again. He's got front wing damage, I believe. Doesn't want to rejoin in front of Lewin Scully. He is ghosted in this situation. Oh, he's got front wing damage as well. Pushing too hard. Pushing too hard again. I think that's his race over now, to be honest with you. He'll be making his way back into the pit lane. Pimis also in the pits. He's got... I don't know if he had front wing damage, did Pimis? He's back out on track anyway. In the rejoin ahead of Luna Ascari in 15th. And Quick Killer back in the pits for Haas. And I think he will be calling it a day. Yep, he's the first retirement of the race. Quick Killer scoring no points in today's event. Just going to see if there's any drivers tussling for position further behind. There's Liverpool Fan behind Jay Hartnell. We've got Redstone Derp has crashed out on the exit of turn 10. And we've got a safety car. So we're not quite sure what happened to Redstone Derp. He probably had a similar incident to what Orange and Gamma had in qualifying. And his premature exit has contributed to the safety car. And we've got drivers ducking into the pits as well. Smalley is one of them. So he's going on to what I think is going to be the hard tyre. It's definitely too early to be going for the softs. Smalley is in. He's getting back out in front of Vamu. So he's lost no time in the pits there as Smalley gets out in front of Dixon as well, who slots in behind. And the Haas team weren't ready for Dean Phelan straight away. So this is going to cost Dean Phelan massively. He's behind now the Ferrari of Rome's Republic. So he's lost out in the safety car period. Now, if you're Lezard, Churinbar and Mystic Joker, you'd be thinking about pitting at the end of the start. Becco also started to stay out. But he's going to be catching up to the top three as they go through turn 5. And Smalley will most certainly be catching up to this lot before they get round to the pit entry. So if Lezard, Churinbar and Mystic Joker are going to be winning this race now, or Lezard anyway, most realistically, then he's got to think about staying out for a little bit longer and extend the first stint. And with those, the majority of those pitting going on to the hard tyre, they'll be going to the end of the race, surely. This is good news for the likes of Pimis, Luna, Ascari and Orange and Gamma, because the safety car has helped them catch right back up. So everyone, I wonder if those at the back will be thinking about going on a set of mediums. They haven't got anything to lose, to be quite honest with you, but the trouble is, it's how quick those mediums will go on, because they are expected to do something like 18 or 19 laps, if not more than that, on a street circuit like the Sochi Autodrome. Now, do the top 3 pit in at the end of this lap? Lezard does so. Churinbar likewise, but Mystic Joker decides to stay out. That's an interesting decision there from Mystic Joker. I think he's got any chance of taking victory. He's got to go for it. I think he's going to have to take the risk, keep track position, and try and fend off those behind. So Lezard into the pit lane. As is Churinbar. There's not as many cars coming into the pit lane, which will help them, as they're not getting held up. Lezard is out on his way again. There's just a little glitch though, stuck in the box. But he's out in front of Churinbar. And he's now behind Luna Ascari in 14th place. There's Orange and Gamma at the back of the field on his mediums. He hasn't got anything to lose now. So Lezard is out on his medium compounds. That will help him get past those on the hard compounds. But he's got to do 22 laps on those. We don't know for certain how long the safety car will stay out there for. It is on its second lap of the race. So Lezard has called up to the field now, as is Churinbar. Orange Gamma pitted at the end of the previous lap. Orange Gamma doesn't need to be pushing too much. He's going to catch up to the back of the field anyway. He's caught up to it now. Now, how long will the safety car stay out there for? Mystic Joker will be determined to keep track position, as is Becco, actually. Becco hasn't got anything to lose, considering the time penalty that he's got. There's no doubt he'll be going for a longer first stint than the others. So Mystic Joker will be looking to open up the gap behind it, and the safety car is going to be coming in at the end of this lap. So Mystic Joker will dictate the pace. We're going to see how Lezard, Churinbar make their way through the field. Smalley in third place. You have to say he's the favourite to win this race now. Depends how this restart goes for the drivers. There are 16 still running. Redstone Derp and Quick Killer, the two drivers out of this race. And Mystic Joker has decided to go now, and he's away. So Mystic Joker leads at the end of lap 6. We've got 21 laps remaining here in Sochi. He leads on the restart. There's Becco ahead of Smalley, who's continuing to warm up his tyres ahead of Dixon. No DRS for the first 2 laps of the restart. It's just pure racing until the DRS is enabled after lap 8. Softar thinking about a move. There's no move yet from Lezard, who's continuing to warm up his medium compound, So Mystic Joker looking to extend the margin over everyone else before he pits in. Dean Phelan getting ahead of Roman's Republic now for 6th place. Roman's Republic trying to fight back as they go into turn 5, gets on the inside, the 2 bone wheels. Roman's Republic caught the curb on the inside, but just about got away with it. He needs to watch Safdar behind though. Here he's challenging, but he keeps hold of 7th place, does the Ferrari driver. So Dean Phelan making up for losing that position in the pits during the safety car period. And here's Safdar looking to go to the outside of Roman's Republic for 7th. And now there's Big Boss Bells waiting behind. Roman's Republic struggling on the restart actually. He's on the hard compound to Safdar, who's on the mediums. And we can see there Becco almost losing 2nd place to Smalley, and he's also lost 2nd to Smalley. So Smalley coming back into the event now by passing the AlphaTauri of Becco. There's Dixon in 4th place ahead of Vamu and Dean Phelan. Roman's Republic losing the position to Safdar. Roman's Republic getting a better exit out of 16 and gets back into 7th position. Good dice in between these 2 drivers. Leslie getting past Pimis for 12th place now. He's starting to make inroads. Safdar looking to get back in front as Dixon gets in front of Becco into turn 2. Over the curbs goes Becco. He has got that 5-second penalty, remember. Going to the inside of turn 3 they go. Does Becco do it? I don't think he's going to have the high ground, to be honest with you. Dixon keeps hold of 3rd position now. Vamu looking to make his way through. And just looking to see where Lezard is. Now in front of Jay Hartnell for 11th place. So Lezard carving his way through the field on this restart. Now he is on the mediums after all, so he needs to get past these guys as soon as he can, really, because there's no doubt that Smalley is going to be going to the end of the race on the hards. Lezard's got to fight his way through to get back on terms with Smalley, who's behind Mystic Joker. So there's Vamu in 5th position. Dean Phelan looking to get past the Williams driver. Lezard's now past Liverpool Fan for 10th place now. Lezard on fire on the restart. He's now got Big Balls Bells in front of him. He won't be an easy target. The DRS is now going to be enabled after this lap, so it's an opportunity for Lezard to use that to his advantage, get into the slipstream, and get the job done on the racing point. You can see coming into the end of lap 8 now, Mystic Joker's lead is over 2 seconds in front of Smalley. And there's Vamu in 5th place behind Becco, with Dean Phelan right behind. We could see a change of position here. Will Dean Phelan go to the inside? He thought about it, but stays behind. And Safdar getting in front of Roman's Republic now. Lezard ahead of Big Balls Bells into 9th place. So Lezard continuing to overtake cars. Roman's Republic and Safdar, the next 2 drivers, who are continuing to fight over each other. Orange and Gamma getting in front of Pimis for 15th place. Continuing to swap positions corner by corner. Chirumbar has not exactly made up that much ground himself, as Dean Phelan's picked up a 3-second time penalty, as has Orange and Gamma for exceeding track limits too many times now. I was just going to say, Chirumbar's not made that much ground since the restart. He's still behind Luna Ascari. So Chirumbar looking to get past the Alfa Romeo. DRS open. I think that'll be a change of position there as Leslie gets past the Ferrari of Roman's Republic to put himself up into 8th place. And look at this long queue of cars. This is Becco holding up Vamu, Phelan, Safdar, and now Lezard, who's joining in the picture. And in fact, Becco doing his teammate a favour here by holding these drivers up, as Safdar goes to the inside of Phelan, thought about a move, couldn't quite make it stick. And Becco's going to be under pressure now from Vamu, who's going to be into the slipstream. DRS open as they come through the right-hand kink of turn 1. And this is going to be a slam dunk manoeuvre there for the Williams as he goes through. So there's a change of position there. Lezard holding back for the time being. Not risking it yet. And Chirumbar in 13th place ahead of Lewin Scari, who's lost another position to Orange and Gamma now. Dean Phelan ahead of Becco for 5th place. Round the outside into 4. And I think Safdar's going to follow suit he goes up to 6th. So Becco very much beginning to drop back now. I don't think he'll want to put too much of a fight on his teammate. Lezard will go past through 6 and into 7. But Becco doesn't exactly make it that easy for him, actually. But Lezard is through anyhow, up into 7th place. Vamu, he's the guy at the head of this long queue. Phelan using his DRS. He'll go to the outside of, well, to the inside of 12 and to the outside of 13 as they come through. Oh, he's into the barrel surely there. Oh, he's made contact there and Phelan in the wall. And Vamu did get his elbows out probably a bit too aggressively. And Dean Phelan's race is heavily compromised now after that. He'll be furious with him. And I wonder if Vamu will have the book thrown at him for that, because Phelan was alongside and definitely should have been given more space. Safdar is next behind. Lezard up to 6th place, but he's on the tail of the pair of them. Lezard going side by side. Can he get 2 into 1 into turn 2? The answer is yes. He's now up to 4th place by lap 11 is Lezard. This is great news for his race. And Safdar trying to get through on Vamu now as they go side by side into 3. Safdar will try and complete the switch back into 4. Vamu gets a time penalty now for exceeding track limits, as does Liverpool fan. And Lezard doing a great restart. Got the restart he needed. Now he needs to go after Dixon and Smalley. Dean Phelan in the pits for Haas. Not sure if he's going to choose to carry. He's back on track anyway on a set of mediums. What a shame for him. Could have got some good points today. And so there wasn't to be. Dean Phelan, who didn't take part last week. And Safdar going to the outside of Vamu. Into 5th place he goes. So Vamu loses another position there. Becco in 8th place for AlphaTauri. He's still on his medium compound, so he's still going to continue on his set for the time being. And Mr. Joker does finally pick for Renault. So he decides to make the switch. Does it with a new fastest lap for AlphaTauri on a 1 minute 33.9. Medium tyres go on the Renault, and he's out on his way. He's going to rejoin at the back of this queue, but he will be on fresher tyres. And Romans Republic getting past Vamu to the outside of turn 2, and he's up to 5th place now. So Becco's the only driver yet to pit in this race. He's aiming for a points finish. Now remember, the top 15 do score points in the Formula Racing League, not just the top 10. Dean Phelan getting a 5-second time penalty now for speeding in the pit lane. That's just pure frustration for him, and he decides to call it a day. What a shame, because he was on course for potentially a top 6 finish before that coming together with Vamu at turn 13. I think he may be making an inquiry to the stewards with that collision. So Lezard now in 3rd position behind Dixon, who is on the hard tyres. Lezard will be on the better tyres at this stage. Tyre degradation is not a worry here at the Sochi Autodrome. You can see Lezard pushing ever so hard. He's 1.5 seconds behind the McLaren. Romans Republic. He'll be looking to get past Vamu. Didn't get a good entry into 17, and that one of that may be to do with the turbulent air of the Williams. So they come through now, through the right-hand kink of turn 1, and this is an opportunity for the Ferrari to finally get through. The inside is where he needs to be. He does so. I think he's gone in too deep, but he's got the job done. So Romans Republic does finally get through on Vamu to put himself up to 5th place. And as I said, now close to within DRS range of Dixon. He's just got that gap down to under a second, so by the next detection point, he should have DRS. Luna Ascari now getting a time penalty for exceeding track limits. She's currently running in 13th place. I want to have a look further behind because Romans Republic is doing the best he can to pull away from Vamu. But Vamu is going to be in the slipstream to have a go back on Romans Republic. Vamu wants that 5th position back that he had lost half a lap ago, and he's got through cleanly. So we can clearly see how effective the DRS zone is through there, as much as it is on the start-finish straight. Pim is getting ahead of Luna Ascari as well. And there's a bit of debris flown in the air. Who's that from? Couldn't quite tell who it is. Is that from the Ferrari of Romans Republic? No, it's from the AlphaTauri of Becco, who makes his way into the pits now. And he's got a 5-second time penalty for speeding as well. So Leslie gets through on Dixon up to 2nd place. So whilst one AlphaTauri falls down the order after that contact, the other is continuing on his charge. One of his brilliant recovery drives is Lizard in this race. Becco will be going back out on a set of soft compound tyres. Could maybe go for the fastest lap if he wishes to. Pimis getting back ahead of Luna Ascari into 12th place. But Luna Ascari is not giving up by any stretch. This is the Tier 2 champion of last season, remember, that Luna Ascari is fighting with. Back on the inside into 5. And that's a very nice overtake there from the American. So Dixon using DRS. Maybe not necessarily to get back through on Lizard, but to maintain the margin over 4th place Soft Dart. Dixon having a relatively good race so far. Now if he stays within DRS range of Lizard, that could help him close in on Smalley in the closing stages. Mr. Joker getting himself back through ahead of Pimis and Luna Ascari. Luna Ascari not fighting it out that much on the Renault. She knows she's not in the same race as Mystic Joker. Although technically speaking she is. But in terms of the reality of the nature of the event, she has to let Mr. Joker go on this occasion. You can still see this long queue behind us. Romans Republic will use the DRS to close in on Vamu. He's not close enough to have a go, I don't think, on this occasion. But Turin Bart has continued to make his way through the field now. He's slowly made his way through the pack since the safety car restart. Down the inside of the Ferrari Romans Republic, and that 6th place going to the Mercedes. How soon can he get past Vamu? Probably wait until the next DRS zone to make a pass. He's determined to get on with it straight away, really does Turin Bart. You can see Liverpool fan getting another 3 seconds added to his time penalty for exceeding track limits. He's having another one of those days. Meanwhile, Turin Bart looking to get past as an instant sector 2. It's the Ferrari of Orange and Gamma, whose event goes from bad to worse. So after a disastrous qualifying, he is now on the brink of, well, he's at the lower end of the points now. Is Orange and Gamma not having a good day? Turin Bart to the inside of Vamu. Doesn't quite get the job done there. Didn't take the best line or entry into it. Does the switchback coming out to 14. Down the inside into 15. Vamu holds it in. But Turin Bart has more momentum on the exit and gets through. Now, how far can Turin Bart pull away in the next couple of corners? Because there's no doubt that Vamu is going to have the benefit of the DRS. So we're right on board with the Williams now. And Ascari getting another 3 seconds of time penalty added to her event. Vamu, does he go to the inside? Oh, there's an incident. Just to go back, Luna Ascari is out of the race. She's had a coming together with Orange and Gamma. That's a really bizarre incident. Not exactly sure what's happened. Someone may need to fill me in. Oh, she's had a coming together with him on the exit. Oh, as they entered into the pit lane after turn 17. And so she's out of the race along with Orange and Gamma, both of which have had a really disappointing events tonight, to be quite honest with you. That doesn't contribute to the safety car, though. I mean, to be fair, it was on pit entry, but still not an ideal scenario, but neither of them will be scoring points in this event. So Truenbar has cleared Vamu for good this time, even though Vamu may have DRS on this occasion through the back straight. He's not be close enough to have a go back on the Mercedes. So Truenbar is pretty much safe and sound in 5th place. Next man up from him is Safdar, who's another 5.5 seconds up the road. Lezard now 3.2 seconds off Smalley with 11 laps remaining here of this Russian Grand Prix. There's another instant set to 3 this time. It's Rome's Republic, so it's going from bad to worse for Ferrari. And so Rome's Republic may have caught the curb on the exit of turn 15 or something. Jay Harnell into the pits for Red Bull. I wonder if he'll go on to a set of soft tyres and try and go for the fastest lap. There's no damage to the Red Bull. Rome's Republic back through on Pimis into turn 2. Mr. Joker in 9th place. He's taking advantage of those who are having their own melodies. The Louisville fan is next up for him. To the inside he goes into turn 5, and that should be 8th place for the Renault. So the fresher tyres are helping the Renault driver. He's got enough time to make his way through a few more cars before the checkered flag. Now lesser tyres, I imagine, are starting to fall out of their optimum window right now. He's done well to get back up into 2nd place in this one. The timing of the safety car did not help him one bit. It would be amazing if he's able to get past Smalley and take the race victory from so far back on the safety car restart. Mr. Joker, 0.4 of a second behind Big Boss Bells. He'll get DRS the next time they get onto the pit straight. Jay Hart will rejoin him behind Becco, but it won't be too long before he gets past him. He is the quicker driver of the two. And Mr. Joker will get the benefit of the DRS on the pit straight. Through the right-hand kink of 1 they go. To the outside, Mr. Joker, no doubt, will get in front of the Racing Point before the braking zone of turn 2. That's a nice clean manoeuvre there from the American to go past and up to 7th. Vamu is the next driver up front ahead of him. Further behind we've got Jay Hartnell, who will be using the DRS to make amends on the AlphaTauri of Becco for 12th. To the inside he goes. Does he make the move stick? No, he doesn't. Nearly got out. He got out of shape for a moment there, but he kept the car pointing in the right direction at least anyway. The gap between Smalley and Lezard. So whilst we've got one AlphaTauri and one Red Bull battling at the back, we've got a Red Bull and an AlphaTauri fighting at the front against each other. Smalley 2.8 seconds clear of Lezard. Dixon alone in 3rd place. Safdar in 4th, ahead of Truenbar. And we've got Mystic Joker all over the back of Vamu. And it won't be too long before he can use that DRS again to get past the Williams. And Vamu is carrying a time penalty of... Just trying to see how much that penalty is. It's 3 seconds for Vamu. Mr. Joker going to the inside. He knows that Vamu is not going to fight it out that much on this occasion. So Mr. Joker gets past and up to 6th place he goes. Next one up from him is Truenbar, who's on medium tyres that are 6 laps older than Mr. Joker's. I have to say, Safdar's performance in this race has been brilliant so far. Whilst his teammate Luna Ascari has had a day to forget. The Bull found in 9th position. His time penalty of 6 seconds would drop him behind Roman's Republic. He's doing all he can to extend the gap, to keep hold of that 9th position. The gap now 2.4 seconds between Smalley and Lezard with 8 laps to go. Is Lezard going to have enough time to get the move done on the Red Bull? The fastest lap so far is currently his, as Big Balls Bells now gets past Vamu before turn 17. It goes wide on the exit of 18 though. Went in too deep. And it's going to allow Vamu to pull alongside and go through. So I think Big Balls Bells needed to wait until the DRS zone to get the move done. Two seconds now, the gap down between Smalley and Lezard. So important for Smalley now to make sure he does not get a time penalty like we had in Austin last week. That cost him the race victory. Lezard will be keeping in company right to the very end. And even if he doesn't win this race, Lezard, he can most certainly take a giant step closer to the title with Turenbar down in 5th. It would help Smalley move up to 2nd in the championship. But Lezard knows he wants this victory so much. Even if he was to get a time penalty, it would not see him drop behind Dixon. The gap is now 1.8 seconds, so it's come down from what was 2.4 at the end of the lap before. So 1.8. Lezard taking over half a second off Smalley's margin. Don't want to be pushing too hard though. Vamu behind Big Balls Bells. Big Balls Bells has got in front again, but Vamu is still going to have the DRS on the pit straight. Big Balls Bells will go defensive to the right, which is the better line to take. He will outbrake the Williams into turn 2. And Vamu getting another time penalty now for exceeding track limits. He probably deserved that, to be honest with you, because he did try and make a move by putting his car off the racetrack and keep hold of the position. But Big Balls Bells is through anyway. Up to 7th place he goes. So Becco closing in on Pimis. 14 seconds is the gap between those two right now in the battle for 11th. Becco is on the soft compound tyres to Pimis, who's on the hards. Now, what is the gap between Smalley and Lezard when they cross over the line? The gap is now down to 1.5 seconds. So Lezard's taken another 3/10 out of Smalley's lead on the last lap alone. 6 laps remaining here in Sochi. Will it be Smalley or will it be Lezard taking the honours? Turenbar in 5th place behind Safdar. The gap between those two, 2.5 seconds. Mr. Joker is also closing. He's 3.6 behind the Mercedes. He looks rather content for 6th position right now. Famos is trying to get past Big Balls Bells. As it stands with... Oh, and Lezard's been given a time penalty now. So Lezard has been given a time penalty for exceeding track limits. His hopes of the race victory have been dented by exceeding the track limits too many times. That's really bad news for the championship leader in his quest for the race victory. So he's going to have to pass Smalley as soon as he can and open up a 3-second margin on him. And that's a tall order at this stage of the race. What I was going to say was, Vamu's time penalty would drop him behind Roman's Republic. So if Roman's Republic can stay within 6 seconds of Vamu and the fan, we've got an incident now in sector 2. Becco's had a spin. He's broken his front wing as well. And that'll be him going back into the pit lane. And we've also got another spin now. Safdar's spun before turn 15. Has he got damage to his Alfa? Yes, he has. And Becco stopped out on circuit. That's against the rules because he needed to go into the pit lane first and then retire. So the stewards will be having a word with him post-race. That could have inflicted a virtual safety car or a full safety car. But Safdar's back in the pits now for Alfa Romeo, and that's going to drop him out of the top 10. So that moves Big Balls Bells up to 6th. Van moves to 7th. Liverpool Fan 8th. Romans Republic now 9th. Pimis will move up to 10th place. And Jay Hartnell will probably go up to 11th. Safdar will be going for the fastest lap now. What a shame, because he drove brilliantly to keep himself in the top 4 before that spin. So Turenbar will be on course for 20 points in this race. The fastest lap that's currently held by Lezard. And second place. This would still see Smalley move up to second in the championship. The gap now under a second, so Lezard's got the opportunity to use the DRS to close in on the Red Bull. Now, how much will Smalley fight it out on this occasion? Don't think he needs to fight it out on this occasion because Lezard's too far back to have a go. But when they get to the DRS zone next time round, Smalley may just let Lezard go through and concentrate on keeping himself within a 3-second margin. Liverpool Fan in 8th place, looking to get past Vamu. He's got the opportunity to use the DRS on the start-finish straight. Is he close enough to have a go? Not close enough there on this occasion, so he slots back in behind. Safdar within range of getting past Jay Hartnell. Uses his ERS and DRS to pull alongside the Red Bull. To the outside he goes, and that'll be him moving up back up into 11th place. Pimis is another 14 seconds up the road, or another 13 seconds up the road. I think it's going to be too little too late for Safdar to get back into the top 10, which is where he needs to be if he's going to get the point for the fastest lap. So he's going to try all he can to get ahead. Go back to the battle for the lead because Lezard's closed in on Smalley. Got 3 laps remaining here, and Lezard's within striking range to have a go. Didn't get the best of exits out of turn 18. Opens the DRS. Is he close enough to make a lunge? The answer is no. So the Liverpool Fan continuing to close in on Vamu in the battle for 7th place. But as it stands, both of them would drop behind Romans Republic in the battle for 9th. Safdar setting a new fastest lap of the race. As it stands, that would not be enough for him to get that point. So that point is taken away from Lezard. Lezard closing in now on Smalley. I mean, this is his best chance really to get past him on the start-finish straight now. He just needs to keep his car within range. Get a good exit out of 18. Onto the pit straight to have a go into turn 2, the first braking zone of the lap. Does he do it here? It wasn't too bad. It was better than last time. DRS open on the AlphaTauri. Into the slipstream he comes. Which way is Smalley going to go? To the left he is. Lezard to the inside. And Lezard takes the lead on the road. Now, can he pull out a 3-second margin on his rival? There's only 2 laps remaining. And I don't think he's going to have enough time to do it, unfortunately. But he'll give it a real good go. Smalley just needs to stay within DRS range so that Lezard does not pull off into the distance. Or go off into the distance, I should say. Liverpool fans still behind Vamu. Safdar's 7 seconds behind Pimis in the battle for 10th place, so he needs to find another 4 seconds in the remaining 2 laps. It's possible, given the freshness of his soft compound tyres that he's got on now. Smalley keeping himself within DRS range. This is going to be the 3rd race on the trot where the leader loses the race win thanks to a penalty. Can Lezard pull out a 3-second margin? I think with 1 lap remaining and Smalley gets in DRS, it's going to be too much for Lezard to keep hold of the race victory. Now does Smalley go for the move into turn 1? He gets back the lead again. So Smalley on course for the victory by passing Lezard. Lezard's not going to have anything to react to that. You have to say Smalley has been dominant throughout this one. Post the safety car period, Lezard just really didn't have enough in him. Liverpool fan looking to close in on Vamu for 7th. The gap between Pimis and Safdar now 4.2 seconds, so Safdar has got enough time to close in, so within 3 seconds to take 10th place and get the fastest lap. But here's Smalley, under pressure from Lezard, as they come through turns 12 and 13. Even if Lezard was to overtake him, Smalley would still take the victory with the time penalties added. There's been an excellent performance from Smalley today. Getting his car on the medium tyres into Q3. Splendid job there. Got his car on pole position as well. And this is a well-deserved victory for the Red Bull driver. Into the last corner they come. Smalley wins the Russian Grand Prix ahead of Lezard as they cross the line. A brilliant performance from Smalley and for Red Bull. They take their 2nd victory of the season. Lezard is beaten for the 2nd time in 3 events. Dixon's going to cross the line 3rd for McLaren, with Churenbar in 4th place. Mystic Joker will be 5th, and then another 14 seconds adrift will be Big Balls Bells. Vamu and Liverpool fan will drop behind Romans Republic. So it's Romans Republic who will be 7th, with Vamu 8th, Liverpool fan in 9th. Pimis is now going to be dropping behind Safdar. So Safdar will finish in 10th, I believe, when they cross over the line. So Safdar 10th, Pimis in 11th, Jay Hartnell, the last of the finishers, in 12th. But his teammate Smalley is the victor here in Russia. So the driver's coming out onto the podium now with Smalley. Lezard won't be too disappointed with 2nd. He knows that these points will still help him in his course for the title, which he may be able to achieve next time out in Austria. But in the meantime, the driver celebrates on the podium after an exhausting event. Smalley's victory moves him up to 2nd in the championship. So the final classification, Smalley, race winner, ahead of Lezard in 2nd place, even with the time penalty added. Dixon 3rd, Churenbar 4th, Mystic Joker 5th, ahead of Big Balls Bells in 6th place, and Romans Republic 7th, Vamu in 8th, ahead of Liverpool fan, Safdar in a disappointing 10th place, when it could have been a top 4 finish for him. Pinis in 11th, ahead of Jay Hartnell in 12th. Softer with the fastest lap point as well. Becco retired ahead of as well as Orange and Gemma and Luna Ascari. Dean Phelan also pitted and retired after front wing damage. Redstone Derp crashed out. They brought out the safety car. Quick Quiller's race lasted only a few laps. For the championship then, Lizard's second place moves him on to 310 points. Smalley's victory and pole position points moves in on to 182. And Chirimbar's fourth place moves him on to 20 points. Well, gets 20 points from the event, but takes his total to 170. So the gap at the top between Lizard and second place Smalley is now 128 points, which is the same margin as what Lizard had over Chirimbar coming into the event here in Russia. And with there being only 4 races left, or 5 races I should say, there are 210 points still left on the table. So the question is, can Lizard mathematically clinch the title in Austria? The answer is yes, but he would need a maximum score and for Smalley to not finish the race. But more on that next week. Thank you for watching us. Hope you enjoyed it. We did as well, and we can't wait to do it all over again next week at the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg in Austria on the 22nd of June, 8 p.m. British Summer Time. I'm Tom Cairns, and I'll speak to you again soon when the Formula Racing League returns.